just assumed he was another cosplayer. Thanks to his costume, Bender won first place in the contest. Back home, the king, having failed to conquer Earth, was kicked out by his wife. Left with no choice, he turned to Leela for help. The next day, the gang found the king asleep on the couch. After the professor woke him up, the king grew visibly impatient. Bender decided to take him out. After having a custom outfit made, Bender brought the king to a nightclub.
Hey, cool cape. Where'd you get that?
However, when Bender saw the king's ideal type, his eyes went wide. A beautiful woman approached the king, and he immediately forgot all about his wife. After bringing her back, the king kissed her passionately, though he still felt uneasy about the situation. Suddenly, the woman stood up and removed her disguise. The king couldn't believe he was actually dating a human.
Only physically? I'm a cross-species dresser. Wait, you're an actual Omicronian?
But the excited woman immediately lunged at him. Feeling conflicted, the king wanted to return home, but he still hadn't conquered Earth. Fry then came up with a plan. With Bender's help, the gang started broadcasting news. The king's wife successfully received the signal from Earth. The news anchor announced that Earth was about to be destroyed by aliens, and the king even took the stage to declare his victory. The king's wife believed what she saw and flew to meet him. That night, as the king grew close to his wife, he suddenly caught sight of Leela downstairs, and guilt filled his heart in an instant. On the third day, the remorseful king apologized to Leela, but their conversation was overheard by his wife. Left with no other choice, the king confessed everything. His wife assumed Leela was trying to steal him away and demanded that the king choose between her and Leela by eliminating one of them.
I still want you, Lrrr, and I am willing to fight for you.
Unwilling to hurt either, the king reluctantly aimed a gun at Leela under his wife's threat. Just then, Fry jumped in and blocked the shot. Convinced of his love for her, the king's wife left with him. Leela refused to accept the outcome, but when the gang found Fry back in the lab, they realized the gun had been a teleporter all along. New body. Just then, the professor told him a piece of bad news: there were no replacement bodies left for Bender's model. Terrified of dying, Bender decided to find the quality inspector who had approved his release from the factory. He turned to Hermes for help. Thanks to Hermes' connections in the government, the two successfully got into the central records office. Hermes even had his own private workspace there, but there was no trace of the inspector's records anywhere in the archives. They searched through the entire archive library, and Bender even accidentally got knocked over by a filing cabinet. Even so, Hermes confirmed that the inspector's records had completely vanished. After stepping out onto the street, Bender stepped into a phone booth and called his manufacturer to file a complaint. But instead of reaching customer service, he got an automated response system. The company refused to accept any negative feedback and even sent killer robots to eliminate him. Bender and Hermes fled through the city and finally jumped onto a moving train. Even then, the robots kept chasing them. As they approached a tunnel, Hermes ducked down quickly, and Bender took a bullet for him. The two barely managed to get into the tunnel and escape the attackers, but were soon thrown off the train. When Bender looked around, he realized they had landed right next to the factory where he had been built. The factory had long been shut down. Devastated, Bender rummaged through the trash and unexpectedly found an old employee list. On it was the address of that quality inspector. They followed the address to a rundown house, only to find it had long been abandoned.
Now I'm gonna die. I deserve better. I'm Bender, damn it!
Bender sat down in despair. Just then, the killer robots found them again. Hermes told Bender to run while he hacked into a government terminal to fake Bender's death. The plan worked, and Bender was officially declared dead. Bender mourned what he thought was Hermes' sacrifice to save him until Hermes walked out of the ruins, still alive. After returning, Bender had no choice but to accept the reality. Later, Hermes quietly destroyed a hidden file, and the truth was revealed. He had been that quality inspector all along. When Bender was first built, he had actually failed the quality inspection, but Hermes had taken a liking to him and secretly approved his release, saving Bender from being destroyed. The inspector's address on the list was actually Hermes' old home, and when they were in the archive library, Hermes had deliberately hidden his own file. All of this was to protect Bender. Sports car. From that point on, everyone had a sports car, and caviar was consumed as casually as water. Homer pulled out the expense receipts from the past few days, and it was obvious that the bill was quite thick. Burns called Smithers, who was fetching ice. The next day, Burns went to refuel with his Supreme Black card, only to be told that there was no money left on it. But this card was linked to his bank account, so unless the account was completely empty, thus, Burns was bankrupt.
Me? Broke? Me? And I'm afraid I have to destroy your card. Good luck. Tempered titanium and coated with powdered diamond.
The clerk prepared to destroy his black card, but the card was forged from titanium alloy and coated with diamond powder. Burns was truly bankrupt. His planes and luxury cars were all towed away. Homer said it was Jay who deliberately made him go bankrupt. Then he took out Jay's new song Asterisk, once a big shot Burns. Now you're just a loser star. The lyrics sang, your end is near. All you have left is bankruptcy. Only then did Burns realize he had been deceived, and the culprit was actually his best friend. Burns shed tears of regret, then knelt down and tore his shirt to shreds. He stood up, kicked the steps with a foot, hopped around in pain, and ended up being tripped by a dog. After losing his money, it seemed like everything was working against him. Even his good buddies had all left him.
If there's no more money, we'll take our personalized bowling balls, fold up bicycles, and go.